Welcome to the Deep Dive Podcast, Part 2. We summarize the key themes and most important ideas presented in the provided excerpts from Unlock Your Potential, a framework for modern career and life mastery. This is the continuation from the previous part and outlines a 7-stage framework designed to help individuals navigate their careers and personal growth in the 21st century, emphasizing a holistic and adaptive approach. I'm really looking forward to diving into this framework today. It feels like it offers a much-needed guide through, the complexity of modern life and careers.
It absolutely does.
Yeah.
And that complexity is precisely what it's built for. Think of it like a journey it takes you on. Starting deep inside, understanding yourself, then looking outwards. How do you navigate the world, build the right skills? And crucially, how do you fit it all together into a life that actually feels, fulfilling? It's a blueprint, but a living one, made for change.
Okay, so let's unpack that. The core idea, it's not just about landing a job or climbing a ladder in the old sense, is it? The source calls it a holistic blueprint for a genuinely fulfilling, sustainable life. That sounds much bigger.
Way bigger. It's really a life mastery framework, not just career plotting. And it's tailored for the world you're in right now. A really central concept here is something called dynamic equilibrium.
Dynamic equilibrium, right? We touched on that. But what does it actually mean in practice for your career, for your life?
It's so important because, nothing stays the same, does it? You're not aiming for some perfect static balance point and just freezing there. Life isn't like that. Dynamic equilibrium means accepting change is the constant. The market shifts, your interests change, stuff happens. So it's this continuous act of balancing, rebalancing, adjusting all the time. Proactive adaptation, like constantly trimming your sails, not dropping anchor in a hurricane.
Okay. So less building a fortress, more becoming a really skilled surfer, riding the waves, whatever they look like.
Exactly. That's a great way to put it. And this framework, it's kind of the instruction manual for becoming that surfer. It guides you through 7 stages, all interconnected. We can walk through them now just to give you the overview, the roadmap. It starts with self-discovery, then career strategy, looks at influences and constraints, builds the pillars of success, maps out the post-dream roadmap and 21st century skills, and wraps up with life management mastery.
Got it. So from the inside out, basically. Knowing yourself, navigating the world, managing it all. Okay, let's dive into stage 1, self-discovery. The classic, know thyself.
Yeah, and this is presented as non-negotiable. It's the foundation. The core idea is, it sounds simple, but it's deep. You just can't make good decisions or find your way if you don't really, truly understand your starting point. And that starting point is you. Everything else built on this.
And what are we actually looking for here? It feels like it's got to be more than just what job title sounds good.
Oh, much more. It's a real deep dive, an internal inventory. You're digging into your personality wiring, your natural strength, what you're just inherently good at. Yeah. Your emotional drivers, what really gets you going or what holds you back. Even how you think, your cognitive style, your patterns, and crucially, your core values, what genuinely matters to you. Plus, interests, passions, the kind of environment where you actually thrive, the support you need. It's peeling back all the layers.
Okay, but how do you do that? Sounds a bit daunting. Is it just thinking really hard?
Well, introspection is definitely key, yes. Really reflecting on your experiences, highs, lows, frustrations, joys. What lit you up? What drained you? When did you feel in the zone? But, and this is critical, you also need constructive feedback. You have to actively ask people you trust, allies who know you well, want the best for you, and will be honest what they see. Your reflection plus their outside perspective, that creates a much clearer picture.
Right. And I know lots of people use personality tests or assessments for this stuff. Are they part of it?
The source mentions they can be useful tools. Things like, the Holland Code for interests, maybe Myers-Briggs, VIA for strengths, Strength Finder, values assessments, even 360 feedback in a work context. They give you some language, some frameworks, but, and this is a huge but, there's a crucial warning, they're just tools. Some are even that scientifically solid on their own. Your own gut feeling, your intuition, and that feedback from people you trust. That's just as maybe more important. Don't let a test box you in. It's one piece of data, that's all.
Okay, that's a really important caveat. So after all this digging and reflecting and getting feedback, what's the tangible outcome? What do you end up with from stage 1?
The goal is to create a couple of really practical things for yourself. First, a personal direction profile, or PDP. Think of it like your personal blueprint summary. It captures your core findings, your wiring, values, key strengths, interests, ideal environment, all that. It's your go-to reference doc. And second, a personal SWOT analysis.
SWOT, like businesses do. Strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, threats. How does that work for a person?
Exactly the same logic, just applied to you. Your personal SWOT analysis takes your internal stuff from self-discovery, your strengths and weaknesses, and plots them against the external world. What opportunities are out there in the market, your field, whatever? What threats exist? It helps you see, okay, how can I leverage this strength for that opportunity? Or how does this weakness make me vulnerable to that threat? A really practical summary of where you stand.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. Foundation first. Then once you've got that self-knowledge clear, stage 2 is career strategy. This sounds like where you connect the you part to the world of work part, dealing with that passion versus market tension.
Precisely. It tackles that classic dilemma head on. Do you follow what you love, your passion? Or do you focus on what the market wants, what pays, what's stable? The passion-driven versus the market-driven path.
And the framework says going too far either way doesn't really work long-term.
That's the core message here. Just chasing passion without thinking about reality. That can lead to, financial stress, instability, maybe even burnout if you have to twist something you love into something purely commercial. But on the flip side, just chasing the market, ignoring your own interests and values, that's a recipe for feeling empty, dissatisfied, maybe burning out, even if the money's good.
So it comes back to finding that dynamic equilibrium again, but specifically for your career choices.
Exactly that. It's about strategically weaving them together. How can you maybe build skills to make your passion more valuable to the market? Or find roles that tap into parts of your passion, even if it's not the whole job. Maybe develop expertise that sits at the intersection of fields. Explore hybrid roles, side hustles to test things out. Grow within your current job towards things that interest you more. Sometimes it even means redefining what success looks like for you. It's always a balancing act.
That dynamic equilibrium idea really does seem central. Okay, stage 3 moves into, let's say, the less comfortable stuff. Influences and constraints, the forces pushing and pulling on you inside and out.
Yeah, and this is so important because, let's face it, careers don't happen in a neat little bubble. You've got external forces, societal expectations, maybe family pressure, cultural ideas about good jobs, even your socioeconomic background influencing your starting point and opportunities.
And then there are the internal battles we fight with ourselves.
Definitely. Often psychological, but they feel incredibly real. Like fear of the unknown is huge. Yeah. Fear of failure, which might look like worrying about money or status or letting people down. Imposter syndrome, that feeling you're a fraud even when you're not. Getting stuck in your comfort zone because change feels too scary. Maybe tying your whole identity up into your job title. Worrying if your skills will even transfer. These internal hurdles can block you just as much as external ones.
I think everyone recognizes some of those. And that the source also lays out some pretty blunt, harsh realities about the professional world. It's not sugar-coated. No, but facing them helps you navigate. Things like, hard work doesn't always guarantee success. Strategy, timing, luck play a part. There probably isn't one single perfect dream job forever. Real work-life balance takes constant effort. It's not automatic. Burnout is real. It's massive. Skills often matter more than degrees, but man, they decay fast now. Careers are rarely straight lines, more like zigzags or lattices, as we'll see. Passion doesn't always pay enough. Networking isn't optional. It's essential. Failure, it's part of the process. Being busy doesn't mean you're productive. And fundamentally, your career isn't you. You need a life outside it.
Wow, that's quite a list, but very relatable. It really underlines the need for adaptability. The source also mentions business concepts here, like execution obstacles.
Yeah, it draws a parallel. Why do business projects fail? Often, lack of clear goals, no real buy-in, can't see progress, working on the wrong things, poor communication. The same things can totally derail your personal career plans.
So how does the framework suggest we deal with all this? The influences, the fears, the harsh truths. It starts with being really honest with yourself. Acknowledge the fears. See the pressures for what they are. Challenge those limiting beliefs inside your head. Then it's about action. Set smart goals, specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, time-bound. Track how you're doing. Communicate what you're trying to do, especially to people who can support you. It's about taking control where you can, even when things feel uncertain.
And there's this key point about how the internal and external are connected, right? They feed off each other.
Totally. Like the external reality of skills decaying fast. That can absolutely trigger or worsen internal feelings of inadequacy or imposter syndrome. You have to work on both sides. And maybe the biggest takeaway from this whole stage, given that careers aren't linear and skills fade fast, is this. rigid, long-term plans. They often just don't work anymore. What you need instead is the capacity for proactive adaptation.
Proactive adaptation. So building that flexibility, that ability to pivot.
That's it, exactly. It means actively cultivating resilience, bouncing back. Developing truly transferable skills, things useful across different jobs or industries. Keeping your career vision flexible, being open to detours or unexpected chances, and learning how to strategically reuse your career capital, your skills, experience, network for new things. You shift from planning a fixed route to building this ongoing ability to adapt.
Which seems like a perfect bridge to stage 4. The 3 universal pillars of real success. These sound like the core ingredients for building that adaptability.
They're presented that way as a fundamental building blocks for lasting success and a strong professional identity, no matter your field. And they work together, they're interconnected.
Okay, what are the 3 pillars?
First is domain knowledge. Basically, knowing your stuff, the expertise, the technical skills, the theory, the practical application in your specific area. Second is domain-aligned thinking style. This isn't just what you know, but how you use it, how you process info, solve problems, think critically, creatively, strategically, specifically within your field's context, how your mind works on the problems of your domain.
Okay, knowledge and how you apply it. And the third one sounds more active.
It is. It's called the Kaizenetic learning discipline.
Kaizenetic learning discipline. Okay, break that one down.
Right. It combines 2 ideas. Kaizen, you might know it from Japanese manufacturing, means continuous small improvements. And kinetic means movement, action. So Kaizenetic learning discipline is this deliberate, ongoing commitment to lifelong learning, but specifically through continuous, small, consistent steps of improvement. Learning by doing, reflecting, tweaking, constantly refining. It's active, everyday learning.
Got it. So how do those 3 pillars, knowledge, thinking, and this continuous learning work together?
Think of it like this. Domain knowledge is your raw material. Your domain-aligned thinking style is the engine that processes and applies it. And the Kaizenetic learning discipline, that's the fuel in the ongoing maintenance. It constantly updates and upgrades both your knowledge and your thinking style. It's what builds real competence, credibility, and that resilience we talked about.
And it sounds like this Kaizenetic learning is the direct answer to that problem of skills decaying so fast.
It's positioned as the essential antidote, exactly. When specific knowledge has a shorter shelf life, the discipline of constantly learning, adapting your thinking, picking up new skills in this steady way, that's what keeps you relevant. It's how you actively build that proactive adaptation muscle.
Okay, this is building nicely. We have self-knowledge, strategy, we've faced the realities, built the pillars. Now stages 5 and 6 seem to be about putting it into action. The post-stream roadmap and 21st century skills integration. What does post-stream mean here?
It basically refers to those transition points. Often after formal education like university or maybe a specific training program, or even when you're making a big career change later on. Yeah. It's about the different paths you can take after one phase ends to gain experience and move forward.
So figuring out what next after graduation or maybe after leaving a long-term role.
Exactly. The framework talks about options like, more education, internships, getting certifications, finding a traditional job, going freelance, starting something yourself, even taking temporary roles or volunteering if it builds the right experience. It's about being strategic in how you gain that next set of capabilities.
And there's a specific roadmap suggested for navigating these transitions.
Yeah, it lays out about 8 steps. Starts with your why. Connect back to stage 1. Leverage what you already have, your skills, network, reputation, your career capital. Figure out exactly what the new path needs. Build a concrete action plan with steps you can measure. Track your progress diligently. Then actively shift your brand, your resume, your LinkedIn, how you present yourself. Lean on your existing network for help. And crucially, start building a new network in the area you're moving towards.
That's very practical. And the source mentions the Lattice model in this context. What is that?
Ah, yes, the Lattice model. It's a really useful way to think about career movement differently. Forget the old corporate ladder, where the only way is straight up. The Lattice model says valuable growth often comes from moving sideways into different departments, different kinds of roles, or sometimes even moving down temporarily to learn something foundational in a new area. It's about building a broader, more robust skill set and experience base, not just chasing the next title upwards. It really reinforces that success isn't just vertical.
I like that. It feels much more realistic for how careers actually unfold sometimes. So alongside navigating transitions, there's this focus on 21st century skills, the must-haves for today.
Right. These are framed as absolutely essential for thriving now in this tech-heavy, fast-paced, interconnected world. It's a blend of power skills or enablement skills, things sometimes called soft skills, plus core digital literacy.
And the 4 Cs are highlighted as core learning skills.
Yes, the 4 Cs. Critical thinking, being able to analyze info objectively, pick apart arguments, solve complex problems. Absolutely vital to cut through all the noise out there. Creativity, coming up with new ideas, innovating, thinking differently. That's what drives progress. Collaboration, working well with others, even difficult people towards a shared goal. So much work is team-based now. And communication, getting your ideas across clearly, persuasively, but also listening well, it underpins everything.
Why are these specific skills seen as so critical right now?
Well, a few big reasons. There's the ongoing skills gap, what employers need versus what people have. Automation and AI are taking over routine tasks. So uniquely human, transferable skills like these become more valuable. Plus, people change jobs way more often now. You need skills that travel with you. So constantly working on these isn't just nice, it's necessary.
And the framework actually points to one skill being the most important, especially with that rapid skill decay issue.
Yes, and this is a really powerful point. Since specific technical know-how can become outdated so fast, the single most crucial skill for the future is argued to be the meta skill of learning how to learn.
The skill of learning itself, like learning squared.
Exactly. It's your ability to effectively pick up, adapt, and apply any new knowledge or skill throughout your whole life. If you get really good at the process of learning, understanding how you learn best, finding info efficiently, practicing well, you can handle almost any shift in tech or industry. And notice how the 4 Cs feed into this. Critical thinking helps you figure out what's worth learning and evaluate sources. Creativity helps you experiment. Collaboration lets you learn with and from others. Communication helps you solidify understanding by explaining it. They all enable this master skill. Nailing learning how to learn is probably the best way to future-proof yourself.
That completely reframes the idea of skills, and developing these isn't just about, say, taking an online course.
No, it's much more active and ongoing. It means really cultivating that lifelong learning mindset, seeing it as a journey, not a destination, embracing learning by doing, then reflecting, seeking out chances to collaborate, being strategic about upskilling, using all the digital tools available, getting feedback and actually using it, constantly linking your learning to your goals and what the world needs. It benefits you, and it benefits the companies you work for, too.
Okay, which brings us to the final stage, stage 7, life management mastery. This sounds like where you zoom out and integrate everything: career, personal life, well-being.
Exactly. The core idea is you can't really sustain success or find deep fulfillment if your work life and personal life are totally out of whack or constantly fighting each other. It's about mastering the skills to navigate and integrate all parts of your life.
So we're talking about skills that go way beyond the job description.
Way beyond. Things like setting meaningful goals for your life, not just your work. Good decision-making in general. Managing your time and energy across everything. Self-reflection, looping back to stage 1. Adaptability and resilience again, but in life's challenges. Financial literacy is huge for stability. Stress management techniques. Self-care, really seeing it as necessary, not selfish. Building personal networks. Problem-solving everyday issues. Even communication and critical thinking are just as vital for relationships and personal stuff as they are for work. It's applying these skills holistically.
And the framework makes a really direct link between managing your life well and succeeding in your career, doesn't it? It's not just about feeling happier personally.
That's a critical point they make. Your ability to manage your life, your energy, stress, finances, relationships, directly fuels or drains your professional performance and your ability to keep going long term. Skills like time management, resilience, clear communication, they don't just switch off when you leave the office. If you neglect your well-being, you will burn out, lose focus, perform worse at work. So these life management skills are presented as essential, hard skills for effectiveness and resilience in your career too. Investing in your overall well-being isn't fluffy. It's strategic for sustainable performance.
This feels tightly connected to how the idea of success itself might be changing.
It really is. The old definition was often just title, salary, climbing the ladder. The modern view, which this framework captures, increasingly folds in personal fulfillment, health, good relationships, making an impact alongside the professional stuff. You see people making conscious trade-offs now, maybe less money for more meaning or better balance. That idea we heard earlier, your career is part of you, but it doesn't define you, that's central here. Holistic advancement means prioritizing well-being right alongside ambition. Okay, so pulling all 7 stages together, what's the big overarching message? The powerful takeaway message is framed like this. A degree. That's a certificate someone gives you. But true mastery over yourself, stage 1. Over systems, navigating the world in stages 2, 3, 5, 6. Over integrating it all into society, stages 3 and 7, that brings liberation. Real freedom, real control, real fulfillment comes from that deep self-knowledge, the skills to navigate complexity, and the ability to weave your work into a life that actually works for you. It's a call to be proactive, basically. Stop waiting for a script, build your own capacity to grow and thrive.
So if we take all that, the shifting careers, the skill decay, the need for the whole picture, what's a final, maybe provocative thought for people to chew on after hearing this overview?
Well, given everything is always changing the world, maybe the best way forward isn't trying to map out a perfect fixed route to some distant static destination called career success. Maybe it's more about focusing on building a perpetual state, a state of readiness, adaptability, learning, and fulfillment right here, right now, and continuously adjusting and growing within that state as you move forward, building a state of being, not just reaching a place.
That's a really interesting way to frame it. Less destination, more capacity. And this framework offers concrete ways to actually build that state.
Yeah, the source materials it stresses that it's packed with actionable ideas, blueprints, templates to help you actually do this stuff at each stage. The whole emphasis is on it being a continuous cycle. Reflect, plan, learn, manage, repeat.
From the next session onwards, we will go deeply for each stage and will bring you the exciting insights how to implant all these stages in your life strategically. So do not forget to subscribe, else you will lose this golden knowledge. You find it, luck gave you this gold, so subscribe before you lose it in the crowd. Thank you for your valuable time. We will see you on the next episode soon. Bye!